Good evening, all. I'd like to call to the order the Committee of the Whole meeting for Tuesday, June 6th. Thank you everyone for being here. From a roll call perspective, we have excusals requested by Elders Caprellian, Coe, and Davis. And please leave the roll open if there is anybody else we need to worry about here. All right. The first order of business is approval of the minutes for the February 9th, 2023 meeting. I'll accept a motion to do so. Have a motion by Elder West, a second by Elder Horton. Any discussion, corrections, omissions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, our single item today is a presentation by the Interim Executive Director, Carrie Grieving, of the Visit Racine County Commission. So please come on up. And let me start your microphone for you.
I did it. All right. I think we're good to go. First and foremost, I don't feel like I'm over communicating with you by handing you this handout and then making you look at slides too. They're the same. So feel free to use either one. I like to write notes on things, so that's always why I like a hard copy. But first and foremost, thanks for having me. I feel a little bit bad that I'm your only agenda item. I hope you're not forced to be here. But that being said, I also don't like to take up people's time and waste it, so we can cruise right through this presentation today. I appreciate and thank Paul for inviting me and letting me present this in front of all of you. And also there's questions. If you need anything at the end, never hesitate to reach out. So we're calling it Welcome to Visit Racine County. And what I did, instead of just going for it and telling you all the changes and the new things that are happening at Visit Racine County, which is the new name for Real Racine. So if you know Real Racine, it doesn't exist anymore, and it has been replaced by the name Visit Racine County. So if you need to think of them as the same in your mind still, that's absolutely fair. It is still the same entity, but with a new name and a lot of new things. But instead of just jumping right into that, I wanted to do a quick review of what tourism is and why room tax exists and all those kinds of things, because I think along the way we may have lost some of that communication that we had for so long. And also when you have new members, maybe they don't know or they don't think about room tax like all normal people don't spend much time thinking about it. But here's our statute. It's been around since 1967, and it's an incredibly important piece, an important tool for creating a strong tourism economy in our municipalities. We have a state Department of Tourism. It's called Travel Wisconsin, and they are essentially our mothership. Each community, each CVB, Convention and Visitor Bureau, works with Travel Wisconsin, and they provide us with co-op opportunities and also sometimes ways to promote that we can't afford on our own. So we all work under the umbrella of Travel Wisconsin, but each one of us, each community is their own separate tourism entity. For us, it's Racine County. We are stronger as a county for sure. But we're not Las Vegas, which is what I tell people all the time, and we are not Milwaukee. So I would much rather be able to promote from the lake, from the city, all the way over to Burlington and Waterford. That's a lot of tourism opportunity. Instead of just focusing on one community, we can focus on all of them. Room tax in Wisconsin, a little more specifics. In 2022, Wisconsin's tourism industry generated $23.7 billion in total economic impact. That's with a B. All 72 counties saw year-over-year growth, and it seems like we are leaving COVID behind when it comes to traveling. Racine County's increase, which is what everybody wants to know, was 17.7%. Awesome, amazing. Yes, some of that is due to the fact that things were fully opened again. We were back on track, but also that just shows that people want to come here. They want to come to the county. They want to see what we have. They want to experience our experiences, do all the things that honestly are my job to get people to want to visit. That also applies, though, to our local visitors, those that live here. I am always looking for champions of people who sometimes might take it for granted that we have Lake Michigan, that we have all these wonderful things here, and you forget to tell your friends about them. That group of people is just as important as any visitor that we have that actually comes here and stays overnight. Room tax is a municipal tax. It's not state or county. So every single municipality either collects it or they do not. What they do with it will come a little bit later. Room tax is capped at 8%, except for certain larger municipalities, but they can range anywhere from 4 to 8%, depending upon the community. Real Racine, or Visit Racine County, cannot survive without the city of Racine's room tax. While you're not overrun with hotels, you are a gigantic piece of the pie. You're also where I tell people to come stay when they're coming down to the lake, when they're doing any event that's down this way. They want to stay here. They want to have the view. They want to experience downtown Racine. All of those things makes the city very, very important. The largest piece probably of the room tax pie, and certainly for Visit Racine County. The next slide is a handy dandy chart. It's just how local room tax, how it works. It's provided by WHLA, which is the Wisconsin Hotel and Lodging Association, which is a huge partner in tourism across the state. I will not read you a chart, but if you have any questions, feel free to bring them on up to me at any point in time. Spending room tax expenditures. So this one, when you collect room tax, you have to spend it on something specific. You cannot spend it just willy-nilly. There are plenty of different options in doing that, and they're very broad. 51% of your room tax has to be spent on marketing. So I can't fill potholes, and I can't do construction with room tax, but I can do things to get people to come here and spend their money so that then we can use some of that tax maybe on some of those other projects. Everything works hand in hand here. What we're looking to do is you have to either contract with a tourism entity like Visit Racine County, or you would have to create your own tourism commission. Those are the two ways that hotel room tax can be essentially spent after it's collected. Tourism entity definition, these are all, things that you can certainly read. It's a nonprofit typically. That's an important piece of this. They try to keep tourism dollars outside of local government because it just makes it easier. They think that the separation keeps funding very clear, transparent. That was an issue with Visit Racine County. We kind of lost that transparency, but we're back now. And that's again, something important to remember. Creating a tourism commission means you have to staff it. It also means you have to then do all the things that come along with that kind of reporting that maybe you don't already have staff in place to do. This one, people just ask me about all the time. What about Airbnb? What about Vrbo? What about all those places? Yep, they're trying. They're trying really, really hard to collect room tax from these properties, but it's hard because not everybody knows exactly who's associated with Airbnb, they can't send them an invoice. They're expecting these properties to collect a room tax and then distribute it on their own with no local government involvement whatsoever, just to send you a check and say, here's my room tax. It's not easy to do, but they are continually trying to figure out how to make this work. I know there are properties here in the city. There's also properties in Waterford. They have a much smaller scope for this, so it's easier to balance Waterford's properties. They just call them up and say, hey, who's been staying at your property? What kind of tax have you collected? Here, if you tried to do that, you'd be spending all day doing that. So that is one of the goals for Visit Racine County, to find a way to work with governments to implement that, to take away the stress from actual government workers in doing this and bring it back to those tourism professionals or experts. So that's essentially room tax and what we're talking about here. This entire piece of tourism, that's the boring part if you ask me, but here's the fun stuff. So Racine County and tourism, it's booming. I already gave you the 17.7%. We have a lot to offer here. Every community has something different. People want to come here. Oftentimes I get asked, well, ooh, it must be terrible being just south of Milwaukee and just 60 miles north of Chicago, and I say it's the best thing that's ever happened. Because if you don't want to spend a lot of money or feel like you're spending a lot of money, then you can come here and find affordable things, and then you do 20 things instead of doing 5. Events feel the same way when we bring events here. They think that we are incredibly affordable, plus people are nice. We get the whole Midwest nice thing that Chicago missed out on. And we take it and run with it. So there's no more silos. This is the biggest thing, the biggest change for Visit Racine County. Before, everybody didn't feel special. And that falls on the organization, on the CVB. That's entirely our fault for doing that. Again, with the transparency, we've moved on past that. Everybody's room tax is reported separately, but then obviously we combine some of those funds between different communities to pay for advertising. But at least you will know now what you are paying for. Every single campaign will show funds from the city, the funds from Caledonia. Anybody who's paying into that will be able to see exactly where their money's going. And while I can't track every traveler that comes here, I wish, and ask them, how did you get here? Did you see an ad in the Daily Herald? Did you see, online? Were you at the Journal Sentinel and you saw something about Racine? Is that why you're here? I can't do that, but I can certainly at least show where the direct spending is going. And in previous years, that's been a little more difficult. Cooperation and collaboration are working. People are excited by these new changes. Once we announced the new name, everybody reached out. They thought it was great. They think that having the word visit in it is a good idea. The name Real Racine was misleading, maybe not the most clear name to have for a tourism entity. And because of that, Downtown Racine Corp., all of you know Kelly, all of you know DRC. She puts on amazing events. And we, as a tourism bureau, it's our job to support Kelly for her local events. She doesn't have to worry about tourism. She shouldn't worry about tourism. We should worry about getting the visitors here because she already has the people to attend events. First Fridays, all the music that they have to offer, every wine walk, every seltzer stroll, all those things, we promote them in hopes of getting people outside of here to come spend their money. She's done an amazing job. Working with her has been, I have to say, just one of my favorite parts of my job. But she's not the only one. Caledonia now has a rep on the Visit Racine County board. Before, that was there was some representation, but it wasn't as official as it is now. Waterford has been working on trying to find a way to be able to participate, whether not monetarily, at least an in-kind promotion with their own Explore Waterford events in that manner. Burlington took all their room tax money and gave it to their chamber, which is a choice that you could make, but it is difficult then to split your funds between businesses and tourism. They're working on figuring out how that's going to be. I do not want MT Boyle's job. It is a little bit messy right now. But again, what Visit Racine County does is, even though we're not getting any type of room tax from them, we are supporting them. Every event they have, we're promoting it. Their name is on the guide. There is no more of this, anyone's getting penalized for not being a true partner when it comes monetarily. We understand funding, but we also understand that if this becomes habitual, if we are always promoting Burlington and always giving them money, then yes, we hope that someday they would want to come back partnership and put some, take the pressure off a little bit when it comes to funding. Sturtevant has their very own hotel opening soon. So they have an ordinance in place, and hopefully we'll be collecting room tax and become a partner with Visit Racine County. And then the big one, But what everyone wants to know about is Mount Pleasant. As you know, Mount Pleasant has their own tourism commission, and that happened for a lot of personal reasons. It was a little bit business related and a lot of other factors. So while the Tourism Commission is functioning just fine, handing out grants, collecting their room tax, you know Mount Pleasant collects the most room tax in our county by far, triple anybody else. They have the most properties. What we've been doing over the past year since I've been there is working together. We're putting their name, the Mount Pleasant Tourist Commission or Enjoy Mount Pleasant, on all tourism pieces. There's no more silos. There's no more you are this, we are that. We're working together to pool our money and then efficiently market this community, this county, everybody here. They're very open to that. They're excited about it. If I had an ideal land, I really, really hope that we could be fully functioning, maybe under one umbrella by the end of the year. That might be a little bit too excited to ask for that, but within definitely continuing this collaboration, giving grants, using each other to make tourism appealing to visitors. One thing that I will tell you about a visitor is oftentimes they don't know where they are. They have no idea. I'm in Mount Pleasant, and they don't know that. The county is Racine County. The city is Racine. People say they're going to Racine, but then they go to Waterford. They're just like, oh, it's all the same to me. And while that can frustrate people who live here, it doesn't matter to a visitor. We just want them to come here. I'd like them to go to every community, but if we can get them anywhere here, great. If they would stay overnight, even better. And it's taken some time, but Mount Pleasant is on board with that thinking, and they're letting go of a lot of stuff that's happened in the past. As for the big changes, most of these are very simple. Real Racine is now Visit Racine County. Yay, new name, everything's changed, website, all of that kind of stuff. There's new logos. That's what's following in your packet. I gave you a chance to check them all out. There's no more, it's a stacked logo. It has a different feel. It also comes in 4 colors, which is nice for communities to be able to use. Like, obviously, if I had to pick for the city, I would probably choose blue. You have a lake, you have a lot of water, all of those kinds of things. But for Caledonia, they're interested in using the green one. All right, you can change it up, you can do whatever you want. What we're trying to do is provide all the assets to make each community feel special, but still be able to work together so that we can present a cohesive group. And it's funny that colors make a difference, but they do. So more options, more opportunities. New look in advertising and online. We will be getting a new website entirely, but we're stuck in a contract and we can't get out of it until next year. Once that happens, everything across the board online will be different. Up to this point, we're able to change the things we can change, obviously the name and some of the features, but within the next year, we can be out of that contract and doing something different. The 2023 Visitor Guide, I don't know if anyone saw that, but it comes out every February, and instead of saying Real Racine across the top, it now says Visit Racine County. It lists all the names of all of our communities, and then inside it has a focus on each different community. It's not all lumped together. Nobody is getting, I don't think anyone's getting any preferential treatment. I think that we are very aware of dining and shopping and attractions in every single community. Maybe the zoo got a lot of attention, but there are 100. So honestly, if anyone did, it was the Racine Zoo, but they deserve it. Creative content and opportunities for individual communities to shine. This is what I was talking about. You still get to be part of the brand, which is what the visitor knows. They understand Visit Racine County. So you don't want to give up on that, but you still get to be Racine. You get to be the city of Racine. And I keep saying this over and over, it's the overarching, and then it's everybody below it who gets to be special. The Visitor Center is in discussions right now. We are looking for a way to make it better, to make it different. I'll just tell you one of the things is that we are looking to make it like a marketplace so that perhaps some of your DRC businesses would want to put some of their locally made products out at the Visitor Center, and then the staff there could sell those for them. We have people who stop in the visitor center all the time and ask, do you have t-shirts? Do you have candles? Do you have stickers? Do you have this? And we say, no, but if you go downtown, and they're like, how far away is that? And then we tell them, and they're like, nah, never mind. While Midwestern people sometimes don't mind driving, other people are like, no, it's too far. So what we're looking to do is be able to showcase all the different communities there at the visitor center. I don't really know why that was never the case. It just wasn't, but it is now. We need to monetize, we need to find the funding, and again, that's the kind of, and also provide a service to our hospitality partners, like businesses, that might want to participate in that. The last one is new board members. We had a bunch of board members that just retired, and if you added up all the years that they were on the board, it would be over 100 years. That's awesome, but that's not great for a board. So what we did was we reached out. We have replaced a couple of those people with actual hospitality members, people who work in the industry all the time, as opposed to maybe being a little bit on the friend of the leadership side. And so far it's been awesome. It's been invigorating. They have really great ideas. They are ready to go. And while some others are still in their term, they're finishing out their term, so we will have a good amount of turnover in the next 2 years.
Director Grieving, I'm going to give you a 10-minute heads up here.
You got it. I'm almost done. So then you can just see all the different logos that are on there. Those are the colors I was talking about. And also, if you wanted to reverse it, this is what we're looking for if you're a design person. Sorry, I'm not following along. Oh, well, all right. That must not be in there. But if you look in your packet, these are just some of the things that are happening, what we're looking to do for the website, how it'll look. We're not really going with a tagline, but we're going to use what's your scene as a way to get people to engage with us. Also, you can see we're doing some new things like this jet ski that has the Visit Racine County name and logo on it. This is something we've never done before, but this is Jimmy Roberts. He's a Wisconsin rider, but he goes to Florida and he goes to Arizona and he sometimes even goes to Thailand to jet ski. And for us to have our name on there, that's what we're looking for. I'm not telling you everyone from Thailand is going to come to Racine tomorrow, but hey, that's what you have a website for. If someone sees that, then they can look you up and see that we do have Kringle and that ships to Thailand. And then the last one, this is really the big piece that everybody's been waiting for. I haven't even given this to most people yet, but it is our strategic plan. It's the summary. We've been working on the plan for about 7 months now. It is complete. Launching the name and the logo was the first piece. Now we get to do all of these things. I'm not going to read this to you, but I would like to point out that in listening to our focus groups, we had 10 focus groups who met about tourism. And what we heard over and over again is that you're not just one thing. You're not just for visitors. You're not yeah, we are for visitors. We want tourism. We want tourists to come here. But we also have a promise to our partners, which are the communities and the municipalities who are funding tourism. And that is to facilitate tourism-related business opportunities and education. We need to be able to get everybody on board with what we do and understand it. And then we also have community promises, which are providing quality of place benefits to Racine County residents through tourism. Like I said before, we want people who live here to be our biggest cheerleaders, and that is a lofty goal. But then, speaking of goals and pillars and priorities, all of this is going to be happening. This is the first time we have a strategic plan like this. Previously, it was like 2 pieces of paper with some bullet points on it, and there was nothing actionable really on it. It was just to say we had a strategic plan. Now we actually have initiatives and we have dates where we're looking to do these things. So all of this came up from feedback. Where were we lacking? Where were we strong? What do we talk about? Who should we try to attract here? And by doing that, by hearing from other people too, we were able to, again, be transparent, say this is what we're being told, and none of them were insane. None of them are out of our reach. None of them are too big of a goal. And I'm like, that's my favorite part. We can do all of this stuff, and we should do all of this stuff. And then at the very last piece is just the metrics. We haven't been very good at reporting. We haven't been very good at keeping everybody up to date on what we're doing, but that's what this is for. These are bullet points that not only can I follow, but you can ask me for. You can tell me, this is what we need from you, and I'll be able to get it to you without any, too much digging or trying to piece together a presentation once a year. I don't want to do that. I'd like to be able to make it a regular thing and present before you when you want, or if you have an idea, or anything at all that makes sense when it comes to tourism. I just would like to broaden everybody's thought about that it's more than events, and it's certainly more than attractions. Probably our biggest tourism driver here is people. So we have really cool stories. We have a lot of advertising we can do about the people that live here, and that alone attracts visitors. We just need to get on it and start working. So that's what's been happening. I appreciate the time. Can I have questions, or is that not a thing?
Yeah, thank you, Director Dreeving. If anybody has questions, let's use our buttons here and we can go that way. All right, so I'm not seeing any requests with questions here. Just to be sure, I haven't missed anybody? All right. Well,
All right.
Thank you very much for your
Thank
presentation.
you very much.
We greatly appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you.
All right, so that is the only item on our agenda. So we've exhausted our agenda. We stand adjourned, and City Council starts in about 5 minutes. Thank you, everyone.